And this latest cabinet decision aims to enhance domestic production, attract investments, curb import dependency, fortify supply chains and generate jobs in electronics and strategic sectors, bolstering India's energy security. And PM Modi posted on X about the decision, and I quote him here. The cabinet decision will boost sustainability and self-reliance. It will strengthen supply chains and create job opportunities as well, unquote. All right, and to talk more on this, we are joined by Anil Padmanabhan, senior economic journalist. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you giving us your precious time. First of all, tell us how significant is this step towards rationalizing royalty rates for critical minerals, especially at a time when India is trying to cut import dependence?
Abhishek, this is a very big move and strategically important on two counts.
Okay.
One, it, like you said in your introduction, it reduces India's import dependency. Secondly, we must keep in mind that green minerals, which is what most of these minerals are referred to, are used in modern EV, electric vehicle manufacturers and other applications, including chips. So we must understand that 90 to 95% of processing of these green minerals is controlled by China. The production is not. Production is mostly located in Africa. So by this move, what India has done is to incentivize domestic manufacturers or mineral miners to increase their production. So previously it was to be, like you said, on a lump sum. So if it was 100 rupees of sales, you paid 12 rupees of royalty. Now this is very hefty and not competitive at all. So now for the first time, they have lowered it, like you said, to 2 rupees, 1 rupee and 1 rupee. So which means if I sell for 100 rupees, previously I was paying 12 rupees as royalty, now I'll pay 2 rupees or 1 rupee. This makes it very competitive.
Yeah.
Globally, it's about 3 to 4 rupees. So given this context, this move is very, very significant.
Move is very significant, you're saying, but on the export promotion mission, Mr. Anil, how big a boost will this $2.5 billion outlay give to sectors affected by global tariff escalations?
See, Abhishek, several export sectors, particularly textiles, or rather most of the commodities which were being exported to the United States, have been hurting in the aftermath of the tariffs imposed by the United States. So this kind of a scheme goes a long way in mitigating the risks of these exporters. And please understand, many of them are very job-heavy sectors like textiles, for example, or even fisheries, for that example. So if you go towards mitigating these risks, then it helps in protecting employment, protecting investment, protecting growth. So it's a very important move, and it's been due for some time. I'm glad the government moved on it finally.
And in follow-up to the first question, Mr. Anil, that I asked, what kind of impact do you see? Like you also mentioned, industries like EVs, electronics and strategic sectors, once domestic production of minerals like graphite and zirconium picks up?
See, Abhishek, just to give you a bit of a background, in the last, say, 5 years, every country, particularly the two dominant countries in the world, China and the United States, have not hesitated to weaponize their advantage or dependency of other countries. So in the case of United States, they are weaponizing their entire trade. In the case of China, they have weaponized green minerals very effectively, and including solar cells and all the related green infrastructure. So given this backdrop, it's very important that India acquires a certain level of indigenous capability. Having said that, these moves are not going to result in an immediate change of circumstances, but they sow the seeds and see it in a context. 2 years ago, the government came out with a mineral policy opening up these particular mines for mining. Now they have moved towards realize that the incentive structure was not exactly very appropriate, and now have tweaked it to make it more incentivized for domestic manufacturers, or rather miners, to get involved in these projects. So this is all to be seen in a perspective. It's not an on and off switch, but it is a very important move in strategically making India less dependent on a foreign power, particularly a hostile power like China.
It's a very important move you're saying, and you have actually simplified it for our viewers. But the Prime Minister spoke about making Made in India resonate louder globally. I need to ask you, what mechanisms within this mission help translate that into reality?
See, Abhishek, these are one of the many moves that Make in India are, you're seeing in a Make in India strategy.
Yeah.
The PLI scheme is a Make in India strategy. Similarly, in this is about mining minerals. So this move is to mine within India, make sure India's import dependency shrinks. It cannot be eliminated, but it can shrink. So it will give you a strategic advantage, particularly your domestic EV manufacturers who were struggling. If you notice in the last 6 months, when China tightened the export of green minerals, all these companies started hurting. So it's very important that India signals to the world and to China in particular that yes, you may be holding the cards at this point of time, but India is also making moves to make sure that this does not become a strategic point of kind of break for India.
If I ask you the broader view, Mr. Anil, how do these initiatives fit into India's broader economic and industrial strategy moving forward?
Yeah, Abhishek, one of the big lessons that we have learned in the last 7-8 decades is that India's domestic manufacturing capability is highly suspect, barring a few sectors like automobiles. So it was very important for India to develop its manufacturing capability. Yes, even though it's not employment friendly, but without a strong manufacturing base, you become strategically vulnerable. And in the world that we are living in, where you're seeing geo-economic fragmentation almost every day. So geo-economics is very, very important. So acquiring a domestic capability or Make in India strategy was very important in de-risking India in this new world order. It's not like before. So today, like I said to you earlier, the countries do not hesitate to weaponize their advantage, particularly the United States and China.
Last question, Mr. Anil, before we leave you. In your view, particularly, how does increasing indigenous mineral production strengthen India's energy transition goals?
See, the 3 minerals that we are talking about today all go into the manufacture of green products like electric vehicles, chips, and so on. So if you produce more electric vehicles in this country, you will reduce your hydrocarbon dependency. If you reduce your hydrocarbon dependency, India imports 80% of its hydrocarbon needs. If you shrink that, that's a big, not only foreign exchange saving, again, a strategic kind of, cushion which you're acquiring. Otherwise, in a situation of conflict, if hydrocarbon imports, for some reason are delayed or denied, then India becomes very vulnerable. So creating an electric vehicle for domestic production of energy dependent vehicles gives you that strategic independence, which is very important. Like again and again, I'd like to repeat, we're living in a very fragile where geoeconomics is very critical, and the greater India's indigenous capability, the lesser the risks in such a world.
All right, Mr. Anil, thank you for explaining it so nicely. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your beautiful insights.